Hello, people. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is sweet, warm greetings from me to you. I know you're doing great. Oh my goodness, I am so excited to be here, as usual. So, guess what? I really missed last week actually. So last 2 weeks I started a series called My Unlikely Friends Experience. So last week I was supposed to continue that same series, but unfortunately I went under the weather. I was really sick. It was a combination of mentally, emotionally, and physically. I was and including financially, I would say. Anyways, sometimes you can fall sick for dozens of reasons. So, but here it was more of emotionally and then physically. The other ones are, they can be sorted out by God's grace. But yes, I was so sick that I didn't know what to do. I was down, and it got to the point that I had to go run tests. I had to see a doctor, and I ran some tests, and it was more of malaria than any other thing I would be thinking. Then at the same time, just trying to raise my head up from that, my period struck me back again. Oh my goodness, but today I am totally amazing. I am fine. I am happy. And I am out of the weather. So I am so happy. Welcome to my life, my identity podcast with Nancy Chamaka. Yuppie! This is me, aka Dr. Strange, aka Strange, aka Goddess of Photography, your number one storyteller in the Southeast Nigeria and beyond. There's a prayer. We're gonna go beyond Nigeria. We're gonna go beyond Africa. We're gonna go beyond the world, even out of space. That is very possible. Okay, I am back here, and I'm so happy to have you. How have you been? How did it go? For the past 2 weeks that I was out. So I am happy. Hope you were able to do some amazing things like I did after I was sick. I went back on my feet, and I am doing amazingly okay. Work, my school clearance, so many other things happening. And not forgetting, my story of unlikely friendship is going to continue. Part 2 of that story is what I'm going to share today. But remember, I said coming here, or this podcast is more about, it's a documentary about my life, my experiences, my perspective, a place that I have to come, teach myself, talk to myself, talk to you, whoever that will be listening to me, or whoever God directs to listen to me after I'm done here talking. But most importantly, I appreciate the fact that I'm always happy to come here to talk to myself and talk to you at the same time. Just like I said in my last podcast, that there are people you're meant to reach out to. Nobody is an island. Short, I was reminded that again yesterday, that you're not created to function all by yourself. You're created to codepend on each and every one of whoever you're going to meet, whoever you're supposed to meet, and so on. So this is not a one-man journey. This is a journey of so many. So the better you understand it, the better for you to open your heart, to open your mind, to open your heart for the universe, to bring in all the people that you need to take the journey on alongside them and beside them and in yours. So this is more like a multi-purpose movement. It's not just one, we're many. And I'm always happy to remind myself about that, because for a very long time in my life, I feel I can do everything all by myself. I feel like a lot of people have disappointed me, a lot of people have betrayed me, a lot of people have rejected me, a lot of people have made me feel unimportant, not useful, that I have nothing to contribute, I have nothing worth looking at, That's what I know for so long in my entire life. And gradually God is shifting that mindset away from me, and I'm beginning to realize that there is more to life than having to do things all by yourself. There's no joy in doing that, actually. There's no satisfaction. You're definitely going to be happy at some point, but then the joy won't be complete, because I think the purpose of us having to live in this life is that we create impact, that we meet people, we make them laugh, we make them happy, we make their life more easier, more meaningful each day of our lives, knowing that we are not all meant to be alone. We are meant to all depend on each other, make each other happy, and so on and so. My story of unlikely friends is what always reminding me about that, and that is the faith I've come to accept. So 100% of it, and I'm so happy. So this platform, My Life, My Identity podcast with Nancy, is also a place, a channel where I have to vent for, at least vent. Talk about things that I hate, talk about things that affect me, talk about things that affect people, and, just vent. If there's nothing much I can do to change whatever situation that is eating me up, all I've got to do here is just stay behind my mic and talk about them. Vent is the way it is, black and white. No painting of any color. So let me just start with one of them. One of them is, there are people actually, this one is my personal story. Okay, I don't know, so far so good. If you've been following up on this, podcast, you know that at some point I've shared about not having light for a very long time. I've shared about how a friend of mine was able to lend me his generator, and finally the generator kept giving me some series of problems. Then finally got sent someone to help me buy, to help me with the already existing fund I was able to raise to help me buy a brand new gen. So, man, I am still running on gen for the past this is July. Since January, since last year, I've been using gen. No light in my compound. Isn't that not a crazy, it's so crazy, right? And with the kind of job I do, photography, I have to have light 24/7 to run my editing and to deliver on time. So these are factors, these are challenges that affect the little business I run as a creative person. And it's taking a whole lot of fun from me. You barely save, you barely even see the money. It's crazy. Nigeria is not making it easier on anybody. But let me not blame Nigeria, because sometimes when we blame Nigeria, blame the next door neighbor, blame the next person close to you who is making your life miserable, because we always think it's the leaders, but the little position you have to make people's life better, you won't make it. You won't want to. You just carelessly do whatever you like, irrespective of people's feeling, irrespective of how they get hurt. So now, let me bring the story to the surface. So I have been in my compound. I have been able to keep pushing, keep making contact, to see how we can fix this light for as long as I'm still in that compound. And to an extent, thank God for the progress so far. We are able to, we're able to raise money from the new landlord because his relations stays in the same compound. So working together with them, we're able to sort out the old debts that the house was owing. About 200 and something they were owing. They were accumulated and they were owing EDC. So as God may have it, we're able to clear that through his help. He accepted to pay. And then EDC offered to, if you're going to pay all the money together, that will give you 30% discount. So with back and forth, we're able to sort that out. But before we're able to sort that out, it was a difficult situation because the landlord's relation, more like a brother, who sees the affair of his properties here, because the guy is not in Nigeria, but there's a brother he has that he entrusts with his properties here in Nigeria, in different places in Nigeria, including the compound I am living in. So this brother of his, because we've been complaining, before anything could happen, before we could get another meter, before we could even do anything, EDC insisted that we're definitely going to pay the debts that we are owing. There is so much money that without paying that debt, there's nothing they can do to help us have light in that compound. So the solution is to pay up that debt. So this landlord, who is outside Nigeria, called his brother who manages his properties here. He said, okay, brother, go to EDC, find out how much these people are owing so far, and let's see how much we can raise to pay up this money. So this brother of his went to EDC and came back and said that EDC told him that the house is owing 400 and something thousand naira, almost 500k. And when he came back and was telling us this, everybody mouth open wide. We're like, really? No wonder that there's so much money this compound is owing, and so many. As God, we're like, even if it's within us to contribute the money, there's no way we'll contribute close to 400,000 to pay EDC. So there is no even hope. If the landlord insists he's not going to pay, because he was not the one that accumulated the bill, it was the old tenant who has been in the house that did that. They've been stealing light from EDC for too long. But that's the problem with Nigeria anyways. Everybody is stealing one way or the other and causing more harm than good. So finally, the brother accepted to pay, but the payment is not forthcoming. So this brother of his is always saying he's busy, he's writing an exam, he's this, he's that he doesn't have time. Okay, when I say, you find out how much these people are owing here. So help, we are here to help. The problem is affecting us who is living in the house, and we're paying house rent. How can we pay house rent and not have light? Why do you not pay house rent where you will not have light? Is it possible? No, it's so painful that you pay full house rent knowing that where you're paying the house rent, you're not going to have light, you're not going to enjoy light. No, that's not fair. Why will you waste money like that? So when I say this is affecting us, we are working, we need light to do whatever we want to do. So if you're too busy to run this thing, let's entrust it. I can create time where we can, at least if it's the money, we can go and pay, we can ask, make inquiry on how to make this payment. If you're too busy to run this whole thing, this same thing continued. The guy was not paying attention. Sometimes I'll call him, sometimes other tenants will call him, and he will keep giving us excuses. So finally, one day, I took it upon myself to go back to EDC office at a quarter, because I stay at Bricks at a quarter, because those are the people managing where I am. So when I went to a call to EDC office to find out, and I took the meter number, the name and everything, I said, please, how much is this compound owing? Let's know exactly what it is. Omo, EDC printed it out for me, wrote it by pen, and said that it's 223,070 something kobo. My mouth dropped open again. I say, really? But this other guy went there and said it was 400 and something thousand naira. How did the money reach up to 400 and something? Or is it that there's a mistake somewhere? They insist. I said, that is the, so far so good, that is how much the house is owing. I say, if it's 200 and something thousand naira, then at least the money is close to being paid. At least there is hope that it can be paid. Not something, with the amount of 400 and something. That's almost half a million. So when I got back home, I met with the other tenants and even the relation to the landlord and showed them my findings. And they were, wow, really? So then that was when they now started telling me a story that they know this brother of their uncle, basically, that he's never a straightforward person. He's always wanting to, if something is 10 naira, he will say it's 100 naira. He wants to get money out of it. He's always wanting to get money out of anything his brother outside the country asked him to do, and so many. He said, okay, at the detriment of other people. Really? Really? Selfishness, you see? And funny enough, he's not hiding it. So by the time I called him, I took it upon myself to call him directly. So when I called him, I told him, see my finding, that they say it's 200 and something thousand naira. That he now said, that they typed it, but he cannot find the paper that they gave him. That he was sure that it was 400 and something thousand naira. That, you know what will happen? That he's going to go back and find out exactly if they did mistake or not. And say, okay. I said, and I asked the relations that is living in the same compound with us, the landlord's relation. I said, is it not the same meter number that you sent to your uncle? Is there differences? Is there a mistake? And I checked the meter number. It was exactly the same meter number. So you see, it was an intentional act. It was 200 and something. So he added about 200 and something to get profit out of people suffering. Hi, wahala. Naija, he will not kill me. So long story short, God's grace, the landlord who is outside country was able to raise that money. So finally, when he went back, he now accepted that it was 200 and something thousand naira, and he now paid the money. So thank God we were able to pay. He now paid the money for us. So what's remaining now is to apply for meter. That one is another problem. So finally, we applied by ourselves, and the landlord relation now told the brother that is when we apply, when it's time for payment, that is 60-something thousand naira. So when the money came in, I volunteered myself because I really needed light. I really want to make things work. I cannot be in a place where things are not working and I'm not making efforts to make things better for me and for those around the area and for those in the same mess with me. That's not how I function. I function where I want to help solve general problem. I want to solve problem. I cannot be in a place where there's problem and I'm looking and I'm crippled. No way. I cannot be crippled. I always find a way out. So I volunteered myself, created time, collected the money, went to make the payment. All they needed to do is the receipts of payment and everything. I even put in my own money, transportation and everything, just to make things work, just to make things faster so we can have light in that compound again. And now, as God may have it, the meter is out. But what is the problem? The problem is that the wiring and the mounting of it and the pole that we need to connect it to the house is where the whole thing is pending. The same uncle is the one delaying everything. Now, my point for venting this or for sharing this is that sometimes it's not that we cannot solve problems. Sometimes it's that there are people around us that are like catalysts, that are causing more harm than good. They are slowing the progress of whatever it is that is going to happen because of their own selfish interests. So that is my anger. How do we handle people like this? I don't even know. If you know how to handle people like this, please come on here, tell me. Because it's making me go crazy. People are suffering. People are don't have light. People are lamenting. People are not happy. And you're given opportunity to make them happy. You're given an opportunity. You're the one holding the key to open this door for them. But you insist because you feel you will not get anything out of it. What kind of selfishness is that? It's not fair. So if you're somebody like that and you're listening to me, just know that it's not a good thing. Just turn away from it. I think it's time we need to be selfless. It's not a must that everything you do you're gonna make profit. It's not a must. If you're making profit, awesome, no problem. But make sure you're solving problem. Make sure you're making people happy. Make sure it's a value-oriented course that you're embarking on. So that's what I have to say, and it's really pissing me off because till date I don't have light because of someone's selfish interest, because he feels I have been able to block him. In short, at some point he's even angry with me because I came in to obstruct his plans of getting more money out of this little project the brother asking. And this is a family relation, not a distant relation, and you're doing this to your brother. And the guy still trusts you. Man, I don't know how to handle that. Anybody that shows any kind of distrust around me, there's a way I don't even give the person room, because these are people that will stab you easily anytime, any day. But yeah, I think God told me to just calm down and not, God just say, calm down, Nancy. Be a girl, be a child again, irrespective of the fact that that people are going to stab you, people are going to hurt you, people are going to do you bad things. Don't worry, I'll handle it. Don't handle it yourself. Leave them. Let them do whatever they are. I'm going to save you. I'm going to make them realize that they are playing with fire. So, this is my vent, obviously. This is what I have to share because it's driving me crazy. But yeah, what can I do without hope? I'm hoping that God changes his heart to help facilitate this whole thing, because that's my honest prayer. The meter is out. EDC officials already called that our meter is available. It's just for it to be mounted and wired. So the only thing remaining is the wiring, is the new pole we have to buy, and we'll have light again. Short. I'm definitely gonna share the daylight to come into that house, because I will, trust me, when I'm happy I cannot contain the happiness, because it will explode if I do not share it. So it's really, really, really been an honor to be here and to hear myself talk about things that bother me. And don't forget, it's still your girl Nancy, my life, my identity podcast with Nancy, and I'm right here sharing you up, doing the things I know how to do, just talk behind my mic and express myself the way it feels, black and white. I don't have to pretend to be anybody. I am me. I am just being me. I am obviously being me. So try and be you all the time. Try and be you. Try and be you. Talk. Because share your opinion, because you don't know who you will be encouraging to do the same. So that's it about the venting part of me today. That's all I want to vent about. So yeah, just like I said, I was ill, but I'm a lot better. My test result came out and it was a bit of malaria, not so much, but I'm totally fine. Mentally, psychologically, physically, but financially I don't know, but I should be fine. Just like I was in a prayer meeting yesterday, so claim from some financial breakthrough. Of course I am claiming it by faith. Almost some money is gonna bounce into the account. God is gonna wow you. So I want you to claim the same, because I'm claiming it. Trust me, everybody needs financial, some alerts. So we believe that this week is going to be that week where some money is going to drop into your account and you'll be wowed. I want to believe that too, and I'm trusting God to do the same. So for you, trusting God to do the same for you. If He's gonna do it for me, He's gonna do it for you. Trust me. Yes, that is miracle. So, back to the main topic of the day. My unlikely friendship experience, part 2. Yeah, that's a normal Nigeria issue, part 2, but the part 2, however you want to call it, whether part 2 or part 2 or second episode, however, it's all in line. I'm going to share something very dear to me. It's my story of unlikely friend who helped change my entire being, my entire way of seeing life, my entire understanding about what life is. So, I'm going to go way back to 2016. 2016, where was I? I was in Anambra State, and I was working in a Catholic hospital, in a mission hospital in my village. Not really, yeah, my village where my mom stays, which is Adazin-Nuk. I was there, my mom's, and I was working as a salesperson for the hospital in a very weird department. I don't want to call name because some people will start saying, Nancy, hey, Nancy, are you sure you're not a ghost? Nancy, they fear. Actually, people approach me and tell me that, Nancy, I'm so strong. Why are you not afraid sometimes? Yes, funny enough, I've done some crazy jobs. I've actually worked in some crazy, weird department that people don't find easily for a woman to work in that department. And maybe on a good day, I will expose that department where I worked. And funny enough, I worked there because there was no other place for me to work. That is the only place I could possibly work to make ends meet, because I needed money to to pay bills, to take care of myself, to take care of my mom and my sister. And nobody was forthcoming. Nobody is going to have the money given to you. So I've got to work. So I had to get the job and worked, irrespective of the fact that it's a crazy, fearful department for a lot of people. But to me, it wasn't. Anyways, so it was working there that I wrote JAM that year. So when the JAM result came out, I was happy. So I already applied for school. So it was that same 2016 that IMT gave me job. My first choice was actually Unizik, but unfortunately, sabi anybody anyways. Nancy, you don't know anybody. So Unizik chose not to give me admission. IMT now gave me admission in their first list. So I was at work. Just normal day of work, and a friend of mine who is a student of IMT called me because I couldn't come to Enugu to check it. So I asked her to check for me, to check if I was given admission, because she was giving me updates on when to check and when not to. So finally she called me and said, Nancy, I think they've started giving admission, so why don't you check? And I asked her to check for me. So when she checked, and she called me and said, Nancy, guess what? I'm sending something to your WhatsApp. You are on the first list of IMT, so you're giving admission. Wow, that's the greatest news my entire life. Like, I was so happy. I was so happy because I had wanted to go to school. School was a place for me to find myself. I don't know why it was like that for me, but I felt because I was lost that school was going to help me find myself. And truly, school helped me find myself. It's okay to follow your instincts, follow your heart and all of that. So school was one thing that was going to help me discover who I am. And trust me, for me to get to where I am today, it was still school that helped me. So I got admission and I was so happy. Almost tears was rolling down my eyes, tears of joy that, hey, Nancy, you've gotten admission. So do you know the first thing I did? So then I said, okay, what next now? What will happen? So it happened that the procedures of payment is going to be that you're going to pay 25,000 for acceptance fee first, accepting the admission, and there are deadlines. There are deadlines for the acceptance fee to be paid. So, and by the time I discovered I was given admission, it was remaining 2 weeks to close that. It was 2 weeks into the deadline. So, and after the acceptance, you not pay school fees, you not pay hostel fee, and that you not pay. Trust IMT now is a school where you keep paying. So I was very happy and at the same time saddened because I didn't have the money. I don't know where the money was gonna come from. I didn't really have it all figured out. Even though I was happy, I wanted to go to school. I wanted to make progress in my life. I wanted to be better. I wanted a better life from what I already have, or what my parents or my mom gave to me, or whatever life was throwing at me. I wanted a better one. So getting into school was going to help me get that. And at that point in my life, after receiving the good news, it hits me that, hey, Nancy, you don't have this money. So how are you going to do it? So as normal human being I am, so I know few of my uncles knew I wrote JAMB, and I decided to call them immediately, considering the deadline for the payment of the acceptance of admission. So I had to start making the call immediately because I love to have things handled on time before their deadline. So first of all I called my first big uncle. I say, Uncle, good afternoon. That I just received the good news that I've gotten an admission into IMT Enugu. He was like, hey, kita kebiano. Da wine cable. If you don't understand Igbo, what that means is that he said, oh yes, that's beautiful. You're our first daughter. Yeah, you're the daughter of our first daughter and all of that. He was just hailing me and saying that this is the kind of good news they want to hear and all of that. I was like, yes, I'm happy. I'm grateful that I was able to pull through. So he was like, okay, what next? I said, yes, Uncle, yeah. Actually, that's the reason why I'm calling, that I need to pay 25,000 naira for acceptance fee before 40k for the school fees and 40k for hostel fee, which will involve other mini payments and all of that. But first of all, 25,000 was the most important things to secure the admission given to you. So he said, hey, yeah, so that's, you know what, that he doesn't really have the money now, that he just finished paying his children's school fees and other monetary things that we are demanding him to pay attention to and all of that. We're like, why don't you call my junior brother? Call my junior brother. And I said, okay. That alone killed my spirit. That response alone made me want to shed tears. Well, I was holding back the tears and just say, okay, let me call Uncle Daniel, at least the junior brother. So immediately I placed a call to him. The same story. He was happy, and all of a sudden he said, oh, sorry that we don't have the money, that. And this is the two main uncle in my life that I know that have the money to help me. I don't know any other person. I don't have any other person in mind. My mom don't have the money. I was sure about that. And that is why I had to work to provide some, feeding money in the house and to take care of myself too. My needs. As a young woman, I have needs. So, immediately that call ended. I don't know how to express it. These hot tears. I am not crying, but these hot tears just started rolling down my eyes. Like as they were dropping on the table, you could see, I don't want to over-exaggerate, but it was so hot as they were dripping down my face. I was feeling the hotness of the the hot tears, as it just rolled down. I wanted to tear myself into pieces. Like, I don't know. It was a very strange feeling for me, a very disappointing feeling for me, a very giving up kind of feeling for me. It was like, the first thing that came out of my mouth is that, God, I don't know what you want me to do, but if you've given me admission right now and I don't have the fund to go into school, why did you give me admission in the first place if I don't have the fund to be in school? That was a question I asked myself that minute. More like asking myself, and basically I was asking God. I said, why would you give me admission when I don't have, you do not provide the people that's going to help me fit the bill? And tears kept rolling down my eyes, and I was crying, and I just bent on my working desk and I was crying. All of a sudden somebody came in, a customer came in. I had to attend. I just cleaned the tears, pretended like everything was okay. And after work that day, I used to close around 3 because it's a shift kind of work. So I worked in the morning, and I'll close around 2. So I closed around 2 for the next afternoon person to take over. So around 2 I just closed, and I waited till 3 because it's a college school, and there's a nursing school in it. It's a Catholic hospital, and there's a nursing school inside there. So they have a chapel, more like a church chapel where the Blessed Sacrament is there, because I was a born Catholic. And yeah, so as I was heading out, I was so demoralized, I was so sad, I was so cold and so unhappy, irrespective of the fact that there's a good news. The bad news was overwhelming, which is I don't know how to fit my bills into school, and I just have less than 2 weeks to make that payment. The first thing my spirit said, enter the chapel. I just entered the chapel, and I knelt down in front of the chapel for the Blessed Sacrament, and I couldn't say any prayer, to be honest. There was no prayer that came out of it was just tears. I was crying, these uncontrollable tears. You're just so pained. All you could do is cry. Nothing, no words, nothing. You're just crying. I was crying. I cried for close to 20 minutes. And I just finished crying. It was a weird experience, and I will never forget. That's why I have to share it, and that is why I am sharing it. And it's just reminding myself of my story, reminding myself of where I am coming from. I should not forget where I am coming from. So after crying and crying, I looked onto the Blessed Sacrament. I said, God, I don't know what you want me to do. I totally don't know what to do. But if it's about school, I am going to school. I am not missing this opportunity. I am not missing this admission. The same thing happened 2015. I was given admission into OCO 2015. So I should have been in school 2015. But unfortunately, the same financial problem, to the extent that an uncle of mine actually wanted to sleep with me just because I came to him to ask for fund. You see, a relation of mine, an uncle of mine, wanted to have an affair with me just because, uncle, I've gotten admission where I don't have the money. And I said, Nemba, you're our daughter, so we'll fund you, take care of you. At what cost? And when that approach came, I ran. It was another so disappointing part of my life. I ran. Like, if you see I ran. Like, when it's as if devil is chasing you, and you have to run with a lot of fear in your heart. Until date, I never wanted to see that uncle of mine again. Even when I do, I don't really have respect for him anymore. But yeah, I pray I get to the point of forgiving him. I pray I have, anyways. So, after crying, I just told God, okay, for 2016, IMT, I am going into you. That's all I was able to finalize with after crying for 20 minutes, and I left the chapel. And I just came out. As I stepped out of the church, it was as if there was this fresh breeze that just calmness. I was not angry again. I was not sad. It was as if they just pulled out, I don't know how to express it. I was totally calm, not worried anymore. And do you know what happened? Immediately, I just stepped out. The admin Reverend Father who sees the affair of the hospital, just was coming out from his office. Directly opposite him is where the church is. So as I was just stepping out, him was coming down from the staircase in front of his office. And I was like, Nancy, Chiamaka, how are you? He said, Father, I'm fine, no. He said, Father. I said, Father, I'm fine, no. The way he now said, oh yeah, come. I'm not sure you're fine. He said, Father, I'm fine. He said, come here. And I I had to just no longer pretend as if everything was fine. So I now came closer to him. I said, Father, good afternoon. He said, are you okay? That your eyes is so weak. It's as if it looks like somebody that has been crying for 3 days. I said, well, Father, it's just that I don't know how to say it. But then I have a good news and I have a bad news at the same time. I don't know which one to believe, I don't know which one to hold on to. But he said, okay, you know what? It's not something we'll stand here to talk. Just come into my office. And that was it. I went into his office. We sat. He said, sit down. And we started talking. Father Francis, I will never forget his name. So we sat down. We were like, Chiamaka, I've been watching you since you started working here. You're such a lovely young woman who is hardworking, who is committed. And I've been observing you. And I know when things are eating people up, especially those who don't talk like me. But he sees that I have a lot of burden in my heart, that it's okay to share it, even if he's not going to solve maybe 100% of the problem, but sharing it first could help. He convinced me, so I now sat and I said, okay, first of all, let me give you the good news. So I gave him the good news. The good news was that, Father, I got admission into IMT. It's like, wow, wonderful. And yes, but the bad news is that I have no money to go into school. And I called my 2 uncles who I know are capable, and they turned me down. They said they don't have the fund. And I have less than 2 weeks to pay 25,000 naira for the acceptance of the admission and so on. And plus other things, school fees, hostel, bubwe. And he said, Nancy, is this what is disturbing you? I said, Father, yes. It is enough to kill me alone. He said, no, don't say that. That there is no problem that cannot be solved. It only takes patience and consistency and asking God for help. He now said, you know what? First of all, congratulations for getting admission. But then he started, counseling me, telling me a lot of things, he said, okay, you know what? How much is the acceptance fee? I said, it's 25,000. He said, okay. That before, when do you want to pay the 25,000? I said, maybe probably before the week runs out, latest before Friday. And all of that. He now said, okay, you know what? Clean your tears, don't cry. Because I wanted to cry immediately. He said, no, don't cry. Let's just see what God can do. Just keep praying. That's all you need to do. For as long as it's God that gave you the admission, don't worry. He's going to find a way around it. And that was the most consoling message of my life. And then that was it. So, and you see, unlikely friendship, how they come in different places, in different forms, and so on like that. So when I left his office, I went home, happy. I shared the good news with my mom and all of those things. shared with my mom, my sister, the good news. Instead of lamenting that I don't have the fees, I was so encouraged to be positive. I was just so calm in my spirit with the whole thing that happened just in one day. It was really amazing. When I told my mom when I go home, Mommy, guess what? I've gotten admission into school. I told my sister, my junior sister. They were all so happy, so happy. My mom started praying that God shall provide everything that I need to go through this phase of my life, to go through this, to enter school and finish with flying color. And so many other prayers my mom made. In faith, I believed her, and I believed that God was working things out for me, even without knowing where that help was going to come from. My life is filled with the stories of unlikely friendship, and this is where another unlikely friendship came into play. It's a story that when I share it's an experience, it's a part of my story that when I share, people still do not believe me. In short, it takes people with spiritual eye to understand the weight or to actually believe me. Because at some point, it was like a joke. It was like, really? How? It's one of those miraculous stories that happens. There's no connection. You cannot connect the dots. But you just see the handwork of God working, moving things beyond you, beyond your understanding. And let me not let me not go further. Let me just start where the whole thing started. So that night, after sharing with my mom, deep down in my heart, I was still worried. Of course, normal Nancy, if I don't have things figured out, I will always want to find a way. So what I did that night, there was this friend of mine. In short, I don't know if any of you knows Young Ladies Club, YLC. Anybody listening to me knows very well that I am a member of YLC. And YLC stands for Young Ladies Club. It's a non-denominational organization where it's a non-profit and non-denominational organization that helps young people with purpose to grow mentally, physically, psychologically, financially, in so many ways, in understanding their substance, their ladies of substance, understanding their worth as young women that are meant to fulfill purpose, that are not meant to live the way others are living, that are practicing the things that God wants them to, fulfilling their purpose for their youthfulness, from that transcending into marital life and so many other things, skill acquisition, mentoring, guidance, and so on and so forth. So for every young ladies out there who seeks for that true mentorship, that true guidance, that true community where you need to have each other's back, that teaches you what you need to do or what you need to know to sustain your life and to build your connection with God, YLC is the place. Because being part of that organization, being part of that community has helped me, fashioned me into the young woman I am today. Before I was a member listening to their radio program. In short, that was how I got connected to them. So before my admission year 2016, I've been listening to their radio program, practicing all they say, especially Dr. Nkiru Akariwe, the golden voice. I mean, the very calm voice that if you listen, she's a woman I respect so much. She's a woman that have helped me grow beyond my expectation. And with the relationship I have with her is more deeper and deeper, more like a mother-daughter relationship that I never dreamt of becoming. But God played it out that way, and well, who am I not to appreciate what God has fashioned into place? So before I get to this point, anyways, you should understand where the story started. It's actually YLC. YLC stands for Young Ladies Club, and I'm still a member, but not as active as I used to be. That's not fair anyways, but that's my bad. So, but they are part of my story. This is part of my story, and it's a story I'll never forget. It's a part of my story that is so relevant in my life that I have to share it. One day, as I'm already doing it here, and I know by God's grace, I'm going to have a bigger, greater platform to share that story, because I know it's going to inspire a whole lot of people. I know it's going to move people to love God, to move people to help each other, move people to become better than who they used to be. So I was a member and I always listen and all of that. So I started chatting. There's this WhatsApp line where you come share burden, and whoever that is behind that chat tends to just have a solution to all your problem. I don't know how she does that, but I had a feeling it's a woman, is a woman, but I don't know who it was, because you will never see her picture. You don't know what she looks like, but she talks to you with it's just like Holy Spirit telling you. She was functioning as if she is the Holy Spirit that I could see. Each time I reach out to her, each time I have a problem and I chat her up on that WhatsApp number, and she just finds a way to help me out. She just finds a way. Like, I don't know. That's the miraculous part of this story. So that night, I chatted her, telling her the good news, and told her that, hey, I've finally gotten admission. And funny enough, I've been updating her on so many things, So it's not like the relationship started today. It's been there. That relationship have been created, but knowing who is behind who is what I don't know. But then, I don't know. That relationship have been cultivated, that I have to. She's more like a safe space where I come to unburden myself, to share the good news. It's just like having a diary where any bad thing happen, you come and share. Any good thing happen, you come and share. So that was what I was doing with her on that platform, and she have been a source of inspiration, source of motivation, source of, moving forward to me. So when I shared with her that I got admission, she was like, wow, this is great. Nancy, you're killing it. And I always laugh. I always feel so happy that somebody sees good in me. Somebody appreciates the effort I am making to be better. Somebody tends to compliment me. I've never been complimented so deeply my entire life, So when she did that, I told her, okay, I have another burden. The burden is that I don't know how I'm going to go about the payment, and I have less than 2 weeks to make this payment and so many other things, And she now asked me, the same question Father Francis asked me. It's the same question she asked me. She said, Nancy, when do you want to pay this acceptance fee first? Let's start from there. I told her, I went down, told her all the things that I dealt with that same day, calling my 2 uncles, them turning down on me, that, it made me really feel like I have no hope in going to school. So, okay, long story short. So she was saying that, Nancy, why are you beating around the bush? When do you want to pay your fee? And I chose the same Friday, latest before Friday, between Thursday and Friday, I should be able to head to Enugu to bed. She said, okay, Thursday then, right? And I said, yes. She now said, okay, let's see how it goes. Just keep praying. Just keep trusting God. Let's see how that goes. So in my heart of hearts, I have up to 25,000. And you know what happens to you when you've gotten some level of confidence, some level of inspiration, or some level of peace from two different people who say, calm down, just keep praying, that God who give you admission will find a way. So I was trying to reap myself, like I was trying to put myself into that faith of, okay, Nancy, I can source out this 25k. I have it. But after the 25k, I don't have any other money. That was my last 25k. And then transporting myself to Enugu and coming back, I was willing to spend around 30k. You understand? So I said, okay, this money, let me secure this admission first before further things. So my mind on Thursday, I just told my mom that I need to head to Enugu. I took permission from work. I told father that I need to, that I'm just going to do this by faith. I don't know where the rest of the money is going to come from. I just said, let me use this 25k and secure the admission first. And if somebody asks me, I say, I already secured the admission. At least I have admission. Instead of after 2 weeks, they will take the admission away from me. I was not ready to risk being dropped back and taking admission away from me. No, I was not ready. So what I did that Thursday, just got ready, bathed, and I moved to Enugu very early in the morning. I was on my way. I was already in Oka, boarded bus, Eastern Mass, and we just left Enugu. In short, we were, I think, whether in Oji or something. Am I wrong? I cannot remember. I think around Oji, that's where we are. Then I got a call, a WhatsApp call for that matter. So far, so good. I've been using WhatsApp. Nobody have called me WhatsApp call. My dear, I was in the bus, and I got this call. It was a WhatsApp call from the number I used to chat on WhatsApp, YLC. And I'm like, okay, wahoo. And I picked the call and put it in my ear. I was like, hello. There was this angelic voice that just spoke to me. Angelic voice was like, hello, Nancy, how are you? I said, I'm fine. I was shivering just hearing her voice alone. God. I'm such a, I don't even know what to call myself right now. But just, God, I don't know what to feel. The happiness was overwhelming. For the first time having to hear her voice after so long that we've talked on WhatsApp. I knew it was a woman. So hearing her voice was a confirmation that, wow, such a beautiful soul. So she said, Nancy, how are you? I said, yes. Nancy, you said you wanted to pay acceptance fee. Yes. I said, yes, I told you, yes. She said, okay, you know what? Because, okay, that day I told her about the admission. She said, let's keep praying, but drop your account number. Let's see what God can do. So I dropped my account number with her that day. So that Thursday, I was already on my way. Just like I said, I was going to do this by faith. So I moved and she called and she was like, Nancy, I just sent you 30k. What you're going to do is that every payment you make, take a screenshot, snap the receipt and send to my WhatsApp, and let's take it up from there. So this 30k should be able to sustain you with the transportation and paying of the acceptance fee. And immediately when you're done with that, let me know. And I froze. I really froze. Like, really? I couldn't, God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to express. It was as if there was hot, I don't know how to express. I was so happy that I don't know how to express myself, And I said, thank you so much. That God, she said, did you, no, she was not asking to tell me. She said, did you see the alert of 30k I sent to you? I have not even checked my phone. And I just ended as the call, and she said, okay, you know what, when you're done, just let me know, snap everything and send to me. I said, okay, I will do just that. And I went to my message and I saw 30k. Bang, bang. It was like, it was a miracle. That's all I can say. And when I saw that money, I was so overwhelmed. Do you know what came into mind? I wanted to hold everybody in that bus and be shaking them. Did you see? I just received 30K. Did you see? I just received 30K from my acceptance fee and then my transportation from somebody I don't know. Wow. That is the amazing part of the story. And this is just the beginning. It was just the beginning. And when I got into Enugu, I was still overwhelmed. Sharply, I was making the payment, went into school, created a receipt of payment. I went into the bank, paid another 3,000 naira for some other things. Everything. I just paid everything that day and then came back. They said it's next week that the receipt will be out and everything. I'll be able to change it to receipt and so many other things. So then I said, okay, between that next week, I should be able to have the school fee. So by the time I'm coming back, I'll collect the receipt of the one already paid and so many other things. But the bank teller, I had to screenshot it and send to this angel that sent me this YLC lady that sent me this money. And this is somebody I've gotten to know, that she's somebody so special in my life. I've gotten to know her from the very first day I heard her voice. From the very first day she dropped a message of encouragement, and she was encouraging me. She was always backing me. She never judged me for one day. She always finds solution to every problem. I've gotten to know her so far, and she's somebody I don't joke with. She's somebody so special in my life. She's the unlikely friend that has stayed, and she will continue to stay in my heart, in my life, forever and ever. It's just like asking God for too much, right? No, I am not. But she's somebody I respect. She's a sister. She's a friend. She's a mentor. She's an advisor. She's everything you can think of. She's so resourceful. Man, God is amazing how He sends people, the different caliber of people, just to make your life better. And this one person has changed my life so far. He has changed it for good. And I cannot thank you enough. I don't want to call her name. Her name is saved in my heart. Maybe on a very good day, I will pronounce her name to you guys for you to know her. But she's somebody that loves her privacy, and I respect that. I respect that about her. But I know I'll call her name one day. And it's going to be a day that she'll be proud. I'm sure she'll be proud to hear her name by many people. So I respect you and I love you always. So back to the main story. So after I was able to pay, I screenshotted everything as the whole payment went through, and I came out and I told my mom. My mom couldn't believe it. She was like, you see, I prayed for you and I know that God is on this journey with you. So that is it. And this is how it continued. In less than 1 week after I made that payment of acceptance fee, from the same YLC lady, the angelic voice that called me that fateful Thursday morning, telling me that did I see a lot of 30K she sent to me. So when I'm done with the acceptance fee payment, she now came back and was like, Nancy. And she said, Nancy, what's next now? She was one eager to know what my next move was. It was no longer me, because me, I was just wallowing in, I don't know where the next money is going to come from. How do I make the payment? At least the next payment is going to be up to 100 and something thousand, 40K for school fees, 40K for hostel, and some other payment that is needed. Small payment. Everything was going to cost another 100 and something thousand naira to finally get into school and start lectures. Lectures have already started, but then I don't know. what to do. I don't know. I don't know anybody in Enugu. I don't have a house in Enugu. And so many things that need to be fixed. Guess what? She came back and said, Nancy, so what next? And I told her, I don't know yet. Just that what I don't know yet is that my school fees and the hostel fee, I don't know how to get them. I don't know where to. That's why is one of the reasons why I don't know what next to do. She said, when do you want to pay your school fees, Nancy? That is a very specific question. When do you want to pay your school fees? And I said, well, if I can pay it now, fine. I will start lecture because lecture already started. I will start attending classes. She said, okay, that's good. Good to know. So lecture already started and you're missing out already. And I said, yes. And I said, okay, you know what? You're going to pay your school fees. I said, And before then, she said, I should write. She gave me a template to write something about my details and how much, why I need fund to go to school, reasons why I need fund, how important the fund is, and so many. She just gave me a template to write it. So I wrote them and sent to her because she said before I send it to the contact she would give me, that I need to send it back to her for her to fine tune and be sure of my English, be sure of my grammatical errors and everything. So by the time I sent it to her, and she said, wow, Nancy, you're good. You're good with your English. You're very good. And I commend you for that. Congratulations. She said, okay, you know what you're going to do? I'm sending you two contacts. Send these things to their WhatsApp. One of them, there are two women, and one of them is Dr. Nkiro Akarewe. I didn't know it was her number. I didn't know. She was like, yeah. Just send it. Then one of them is Dr. Obe Namani. These two contacts was what she gave to me, and then I sent these messages to them, hoping that they will be able to get back to me. So funny enough, it was mommy that got back to me. She's Dr. Nkira Karewe. She never did. She's a very busy person, so she didn't. It was Dr. Bin Inamane. She got back to me and she told me, she encouraged me and so on, and why she wouldn't do much more, that she already have so much on her table and all of that. And I totally understand. So when she get back to me and asked me what was the response from the two contacts she gave me, was like, and I told her, but she said, you know what, just calm down, all right? We now further and said, okay, when do you want to pay your school fees? And I told her, she now said, okay, you know what, you're paying your school fees, whether the contact I gave you responded positively or negatively, it doesn't really matter. But what I'm sure is that you're going to pay your school fees and you're starting lectures next week. That was specific. I didn't. God, this is my story indeed. As I'm sharing it right now, it's even overwhelming. Actually going back in time, 2016, when all these things was happening. In less than 2 days, I got a lot of 100 and some. I think 80 something. Okay. I think 100 and something thousand hit my account. I shock. For the first time in my life, somebody was saying my account is saying 100 and something thousand. That was a record-breaking moment for me. And God, I could not contain the happiness, the surprise. Everything was just happening in a split of second, in a twinkle of an eye. I never expected wonders to happen that way. To me, I know God has been very miraculous. In short, I know that my life has been more of a miraculous person. I used to call myself the miracle child because my entire life has been miracle like this, stories like this, just from nowhere. Things just happen, and is who I am. Is how God want to show up for me. And it kept repeating itself. It just kept repeating. And I've come to understand that this is how God works for me. And this is how God wants to show himself in for my sake and for those who are going to live and see these miracles and feel them because I existed. I called her. I said, Jesus, I cannot believe this is happening. She said, no, Nancy, God is just starting with you. And funny enough, she was just normal. There was nothing special. She was just normal. Like there was no. I am overwhelmed, and she's telling me, calm down. That it is not even. I have not started. That I should. When am I coming to school? How do you have? When you want to start lecture, do you have an accommodation? Do you have this? Do you have? I said I don't have any. She said she's gonna have that fixed. And everything just happened. As she's telling me, she's doing. That is how I paid my school fees. Paid my hostel fee. Before every other person in that school. Before every other person. Do you know what my reg number was when I got admission? I was 011. My reg number was 011 out of 700 and something students that started school with me. My reg number was 011. I paid everything in a twinkle of an eye. Like as if I had a father who paid everything. That's how amazing this story is. So, here is another wonderful story, my experience of unlikely friendship. And that unlikely friendship has spanned into something beyond just unlikely friendship. She's more than that to me. The family, in short, I don't know what to say. It's a years of success, a year of experience, a year of abundance, a year of just knowing these people, knowing this person, having this person contribute to my life has changed my life, and more and more and more. I don't know how to express this, but that is how I got into school, and that is why these people, YLC, and the beautiful young woman that I met that spoke with me that day, and then finally I was able to meet Dr. Nkiru Akarewe, who became a mother to me, who became my mentor, who became my guidance, who became everything that I could think of in a mother to me. She helped me. She taught me a lot of things. I learned a lot from her. And she became the mother I had. That even in school, people don't believe I am a child who is from somewhere in the one village like that. People were seeing me as if I was the daughter's king. And I appreciate that privilege. I appreciate that experience. It was God's doing. It was not me. Because on a normal, I'm not supposed to know her caliber of person. I'm not supposed to meet her. I'm not supposed to even stay under the same roof with her. Based on levels. But look at me. God just sends people like this in my life that will change your mindset. That will change everything you know about life. That will make you see life the way you're supposed to see them. The way God wants you to see them. And I'm sharing this to encourage every young woman out there, every young girl who have a dream, who feels like they can't do anything much because, financial constraint, no uncle, no brother, no father, no mother, and all of that. Yes, I used to be that child, but all I had was my dream. All I had is that I wanted more in life, and that's what has spanned to attract a lot of good things towards me. And I prayed and I trusted God, even though I was afraid, even though I was hopeless, even though at some point I wanted to give up. But somehow God brought people in my life to encouraged me to keep trusting in him, that he is the father of the fatherless. He is the mother to the motherless. He's the person, he's the father you can ever think of. He's the best father that I have ever had and will always have. Trust me, God has been there for me, and without him I don't think I can be where I am right now. So it's just for you to know that unlikely friendship is deeper than we might think. You meet people, you don't know they're angels. You meet people, you don't know that they've come into your life to change you, to impact. That is why I keep emphasizing that we all need each other. When you see somebody, don't think less of who they are. Respect them, because you don't know who you'll be doing good to. Respect, be kind, be soft-spoken, show kindness, show love, because you don't know, meeting that person might change your entire life. You don't know what you're asking God, that maybe God has whispered to them that they will be the one to solve that problem on his behalf. So, like I said, my life has been miraculous, and there are more stories like this I'm going to bring to you. This is not a hearsay. This is not like somebody else's story. This is my identity, my life, my identity, my story. I own it. I experienced it. And next Sunday, I'm going to continue the story of unlikely friendship. This is going to be a very long series, because I have a lot of them in my life. I have a lot of them. And I need to highlight each and every one of them for the purpose that God has put in my heart to do. Just for the purpose of sharing it and let the world hear it and give glory to his name. So we come, and this is going to be where we're going to have a full stop for this episode of my life, my identity podcast with Nancy. It's a long one, by the way, but I'm happy. I'm very happy to share the story, and I know you will love it. I know you want to share, you want to hear everything and more and more. So I'm happy to share, and I'm happy you're listening, and I'm happy because I'm even revealed of certain things that I didn't know that happened in between these stories I'm sharing. I am becoming more grateful to God every day, every minute that I share this, hearing it again from me to me. Hey, not too much miracle indeed. But I'm grateful. It's good to have you here. It's good to have you listen to me. It's good to have you just sit and listen to my story. I love you, and I will keep loving you. I will be here just sharing you and encouraging you and holding your hands to walk this path with you. Whatever it is you're going through, just know that you're not alone. You're not alone. There are people who have gone through that same path and they've come out victoriously, and they want to hold your hands to go through yours. So no matter what it is, just know that somebody is there looking out for you, praying for you, asking God to come to your aid, and encouraging you and inspiring you and motivating you, just like I have a lot of people who do that for me. And I'm grateful to have each and every one of you in my life. I am grateful. I'll continue to be. I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you. Have a blissful week ahead. Bye.